Aisha, my daughter, are you sure? You will be only the third wife of the Maharaja, and your children will never inherit the throne of Jaipur. Her mother Indira affectionately persuaded the princess. But the determined Gayatri had no hesitation in agreeing to marry the Maharaja. She had been in love with him since she was a teenager. And despite the fact that the handsome Man Singh had a reputation of a real ladies' man and relatives assured the girl that it was not easy to be a third wife, the daring princess had no doubt that her marriage would work out perfectly. And unsurprisingly it did. Gayatri Devi was born into one of India's royal families in 1919. She was born in London where her parents were living at the time. Her father was Jitendra Narayan, the Maharaja of the Principality of Cooch Behar in India, and her mother was the famous beauty, Indira Devi, daughter of the Maharaja of the powerful Principality of Baroda. The girl's parents married for great love, overcoming the opposition of their families. Gayatri became the fourth child of the couple, and in total there were 5 children in the family. At home, the girl was affectionately called Aisha and was considered a real tomboy. Gayatri lost her father early, who died when she was 3 years old. Her mother Indira became the regent of the principality and made every effort to give her children an excellent European education. The princess studied in London and in Switzerland. The childhood of the princess passed in an atmosphere of unprecedented luxury and wealth. So, in the palace where she lived worked about 400 servants. The older the girl became, the more she became good. Gayatri was a woman of strong and confident character. Even at the age of 12 she met her future half in Calcutta. According to her memories, it was love at first sight. Maharaja Man Singh was 7 years older than her. Gayatri could not forget this handsome prince and always kept him in her thoughts. After a few years they met several times already in Europe. The bright dark-haired beauty with huge eyes did not leave the young Maharaja indifferent. You bet, she was so different from modest Indian women. Witty and educated girl boldly wore pants, she had short hair to her shoulders and behaved like a real European. Gayatri loved to ride horses, was an excellent shot and was good at polo and tennis. And one of the Maharaja's favorite hobbies was playing polo. He was an excellent sportsman. For a while the couple dated in secret, so both their families were not thrilled with the relationship. Not surprisingly, in 1939 Man Singh proposed to Gayatri and she immediately accepted. It was a favorable proposal for Gayatri as the Maharaja ruled the vast and wealthy Principality of Jaipur. However, there were a few nuances to this idyll. The Maharaja already had 2 wives from whom he had 3 sons and a daughter. According to Rajput tradition, all of the Maharaja's consorts lived in the same palace. Besides, the presence of other women did not prevent Man Singh from having affairs on the side. But all these circumstances did not frighten Gayatri at all. She was so much in love and the Maharaja reciprocated her love. In 1940 there was a lavish wedding that was entered into the Guinness Book of Records as the most expensive wedding in the world. At that time the groom was 28 years old and the bride was 21. The Maharaja was so captivated by Gayatri that he allocated special rooms in his palace for her, engaging European designers. He lavished the bride with expensive gifts and gave her the title of Maharani immediately after the wedding. The couple was happy and spent all their time together. Amazingly, Man Singh after marriage left the side entertainment and was faithful to Gayatri. She indeed became his favorite wife. Their love for each other carried them throughout their lives. Though Gayatri had to live in the same palace with other wives and children of the Maharaja and had to adjust to a certain hierarchy. But it was she who became the first lady of the Principality of Jaipur, as the other 2 wives of the Maharaja came from orthodox princely families and observed purdah. This is a completely reclusive lifestyle women led within the walls of their home, not appearing in public or socializing with any men other than their husband. As you can understand, the freedom-loving and energetic Gayatri absolutely refused to observe purdah. She opposed this medieval custom and refused to cover her face with a veil. Curiously, her husband-in-law allowed her everything. In this regard, she took an active part in social events, regularly accompanying her husband on his trips to Europe and even participating in tiger hunts in his company. Gayatri found common ground with many celebrities and foreign diplomats visiting Jaipur. For example, she interacted with Queen Elizabeth II and her husband Philip, as well as Jacqueline Kennedy during their visits to India in 1962 and 1963. With her quality education, Gayatri actively advocated for educational opportunities for Indian women. She established several schools in Jaipur focused on girls' education and supported charitable organizations aimed at helping women. Maharani also patronized the arts and traditional crafts of India. Through her efforts, the production of blue pottery in Jaipur was revived. But the couple didn't have children for a long time. Their only child, Prince Jagat Singh, was born 9 years after the wedding. The Maharaja was over the moon that he had a son with his beloved wife. The couple led a luxurious lifestyle with a huge fortune and surrounded by a crowd of servants who fulfilled all their wishes. Gayatri loved to drive, so her husband gave her several Rolls-Royces, a Mercedes and even a personal airplane. Maharani enjoyed dressing up in beautiful chiffon saris, showing her love for fine clothing. Her style inspired women in India and her outfits were often copied. Together with her husband, they enjoyed having fun, throwing raucous parties. Western photographers were fascinated by the elegant Maharani, capturing her images in photographs, and Vogue magazine even included her in its list of the 10 most beautiful women in the world. She had an inherent reputation as a socialite. However, the real weakness of Gayatri was a passion for exquisite champagne. But all good things come to an end sooner or later. In 1947 India gained independence, and 2 years later all principalities were abolished. Like other Maharajas, Man Singh lost his rights to rule Jaipur but retained his title. Although many royal families lost fortunes then, the Maharaja managed to retain most of his inheritance. For a few years he even held the post of governor of Jaipur. And then, in 1958, Man Singh decided to engage in a promising direction, the development of tourism in India. He turned his stunning palace in Jaipur into an equally beautiful 5-star hotel. He then did the same with several other palaces. The Maharaja's business became very successful. And Gayatri, along with her husband, developed a chain of new luxury hotels. Undaunted by the changes in her life, the Maharani decided to get involved in political activities. At the age of 43, Gayatri won the 1962 elections and took her seat in the Indian Parliament. For 12 years she successfully represented in politics as a member of the Liberal political party Svatantra. Gayatri became the first female politician from the royal family. She actively criticized the politics of another famous Indian lady, Indira Gandhi. According to contemporaries, the Maharani could sometimes be capricious and even despotic. But with such a difficult character, Gayatri enjoyed great popularity in India as she always easily communicated with ordinary people and tried to help the poor. Indians practically idolized her, considering her their folk princess. In 1970, during one of the polo matches in England, Maharaja Man Singh suffered a serious injury that led to his demise. He was 57 years old. After his passing, the title of Maharaja, though still nominal, passed to his eldest son from his first marriage to Bhavani Singh. The death of her beloved husband took a heavy toll on Gayatri, but she lived without him for another 39 years, until the end of her life. In 1975, the Maharani found herself in jail. At that time, a state of emergency was declared in India due to severe riots. Many opponents of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi were jailed then. Gayatri was one such victim. She was accused of not paying taxes in a trumped-up case. After 6 months, the Maharani was released from Tihar jail on the grounds of no crime. After leaving politics, the Maharani lived peacefully in her huge estate in India. She traveled extensively and pursued her hobbies. Gayatri wrote a book of memoirs about her life which became a bestseller. In the last years of her life, the Maharani was involved in litigation with her stepson Bhavani for the right to run hotels owned by her late husband. I have had a very happy life. I don't regret anything. I am not prone to nostalgia. I live in the present. I just try to do what I can when I see unhappiness around me. Why grumble about things that aren't going your way? Get the most out of life. From an interview with Maharani Gayatri to the Times of India, 2009. Maharani's son Jagat Singh married a Thai princess in 1978. The couple had a son and daughter who grew up in Thailand. Sadly, Gayatri outlived not only her husband but also her only son, who passed away at the age of 48 from alcohol problems. And the Maharani herself died in 2009 in Jaipur at the age of 90. Her grandchildren inherited a colossal fortune from their grandmother.